name is Holly. I just finished my second year teaching 7th grade math. Next year I will be transitioning to high school, but I just wanted to share kind of what I learned my first 2 years, and this is like everything that I wish I knew before I started my first year. Now, I went into teaching with zero experience. I'm talking, I did not do student teaching, I did not graduate with an education degree, none of that. I did an alt cert, which is an alternative certification, meaning I just had a bachelor's degree in something kind of unrelated to teaching. And then afterwards, I did a program for teaching to get certified. So day one, nothing. I knew nothing. I was so nervous and stressed out just because I was like, wait, y'all are gonna leave me in here alone with all these kids? Like, what do I do? What if they don't listen to me? Like, I just had so many worries. So hopefully with this video, I can kind of give you a roadmap on how to navigate your first year as a teacher. I've decided to split my advice up into 3 different sections, with before the year starts, the early days, and wrapping it up. So starting with before the year starts, also if you see me looking down, I have notes so I don't forget to say anything. Before the year starts, so I highly recommend that if you get hired earlier in the summer, knock out all of your PD that you can. Most districts have like in-person professional development opportunities or online opportunities that you can do for free. Do as much of that as you can before the year actually starts, because once the year starts, that's the last thing that's going to be on your mind is, oh, I have to go get my training done on whatever. So my first year, I did 2 trainings in the summer before the year started, and that was really nice that I just knocked those out and I didn't have to worry about them once the year started. Next, once you get to your campus, you need to find a veteran teacher that you can become best friends with. Veteran teacher means they've been there preferably at least 5 years, but honestly, it depends. If you find someone that's been teaching for 20 years, great. Sometimes someone who's been there for just 2 or 3 years is a really good resource. So just someone who seems like they know what they're doing and is willing to help you. You need to befriend like the secretary person. Find out like who's in charge of who do you contact for absences, or who do you ask administrative questions to. Figure out who that person is and become friends with them, because they are going to be the ones that when you're in a bind, you're going to contact them. So you want them to like you. Next, if your campus has a copy person, like a designated person that does copies, befriend them. Because when you are starting a lesson and you realize, oh crap, I didn't make enough copies, you can just call your bestie in the copy room and she can get it done for you. And lastly, the janitor. You need to figure out who the custodian is that's going to be taking care of your room and be friends with them, because it is so, for me, it was just so awkward. Asking someone to do something without having ever talked to them before is weird. So I made it a priority to get to know my custodian. We had each floor had its own custodian, so I got to know mine by name, got to kind of know a little bit about them, and it just made it a lot easier for me to come to them like, oh, I need, extra trash bags, or can I get some paper towels, or, just like, hey, I don't think my room got swept yesterday, can you just make sure that you sweep it today? Like, all of those conversations that are kind of awkward to have are a lot less awkward if you could approach them and say their name and they know who you are. So those people you definitely need to reach out to and befriend ASAP. So going back to the veteran teacher that I was talking about, find one and absolutely annoy them with questions, because I promise you, they're not gonna get annoyed. They know how scary it is and just how daunting it is to be a first year teacher, and they want you to succeed. Now, if you found someone and they're just like getting annoyed at all of your questions and they're like just not really wanting to help you, find someone else. Just drop them, find someone else. There is going to be someone on campus that genuinely wants to help you. I'm talking like all of the questions that you think, even the ones that you think are silly, like what bathrooms are we supposed to use? because I didn't know. There are staff bathrooms and there are kid bathrooms. I knew where the kid bathroom was, but I didn't know where the staff bathroom was. Those are things that you have to ask. Also, you don't know what you don't know. So just being around that veteran teacher, someone who's been on that campus, someone who's been in the profession, who can kind of like anticipate the things that you won't know to ask about and let you know, like that is so helpful. Like there were so many things that I never would have thought about until like I needed to know it immediately, that someone else, like my mentor teacher, was able to come to me and say, oh, hey, by the way, don't worry about this now, but at some point you need to do X, Y, Z. And then it's like just such a weight off your chest knowing that there's someone in your corner. And I promise you, I know I keep saying it, but nobody expects you to know everything. It's your first year. They want you to succeed. They're going to help you. Depending on how your campus is set up, for me, I was at a middle school, so we had 3 floors in our building. It was 6th grade, then 7th grade, then 8th grade. So I was on the middle floor, meaning the rest of the math department was on different floors than me. So I actually didn't spend that much time with my math department. I spent a lot more time with my hall, so all of the 7th grade teachers. Because of that, get to know the people that are around you, because you might be introduced to your department or your team early on in the year. Like you might have time to work with them before the year actually starts, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be the ones that you're interacting with on a daily basis. So figure out who's around you, what they teach, how long they've been teaching there. Just get to know them, because when things come up and you need someone to cover your room while you go to the bathroom, or you're running late and you need them to cover for you or sign you in or whatever, when you need help, you need to have those people, that community that you can rely on, and you want to be able to provide that for them as well. So just get to know the people around you, because they might not be people that you're actually working with on a daily basis. The next one, everyone loves a beautiful Pinterest classroom. You don't need it. All of those gorgeous classroom setup videos where they go out and spend thousands of dollars on decorations and everything has a theme, love it. Absolutely gorgeous. That's my dream, but it is not necessary. If that is something, especially for your first year, you don't know what you need and don't need. So don't stress yourself out financially or just mentally trying to come up with a perfect classroom, because the kids don't care. The kids are gonna come in. If you have a decked out room, some of them might be like, oh wow, I like your room. And then that's it. They're not gonna, like that's it. They're not gonna learn better just because the room is cute and on theme, you know? So don't let that stress you out. Definitely make your room comfortable, make your room functional, and make it a room that you enjoy being in, because you are gonna be spending so much time there. But don't kill yourself over it. Last thing before the school year starts, create an Amazon wish list. People love getting teachers things. Create an Amazon wish list. Ask people, if you know anyone who's a teacher, what should I put on my wish list? Just Google it. Whatever grade you're going to be teaching, whatever content you're going to be teaching, what do these teachers need? I have a video up actually that is all about different classroom supplies and whether or not I think it's worth it. So you can definitely check that out if you want. But get an Amazon wish list and just share it with people. They want to do these things for you. And if you try to buy everything on your own, you're not gonna, that's just not gonna work unless you are well off. I was not, I still am not, I'm a teacher. So definitely do that, because people love to help out and they understand the struggle of being a teacher. So it'll surprise you who gets you things, because it surprised me. I got almost everything on my wish list, y'all. Just saying. Next is the early days. So this is going to focus primarily on like the beginning of the school year and like the first semester. Number 1, wear comfortable shoes. And don't be like me, who was told to wear comfortable shoes and then didn't. I thought I was going to die after my first day, because I wore these cute little sandals because I wanted to look nice my first day. My feet were throbbing. My legs hurt. My back hurt. It was unlike anything I've ever experienced. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is, but every teacher will tell you, wear comfortable shoes. Invest in some cute, comfortable shoes. It's worth it. Don't do it. Don't do what I did. The first 6 weeks, even longer, but specifically the first 6 weeks, are so unbelievably exhausting. And I know that I'm telling you this and you're hearing me, but you don't get it. You don't get it, and you're not gonna get it until you're there. Because I didn't get it. I was like, okay, I'll be tired, whatever. No, this is a bone deep mental, physical, emotional exhaustion where you get home at the end of the day, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and you fall asleep on the couch because you're tapped out, can't do it. And it takes about 6 weeks to really get yourself back on that schedule. The beginning, like the first week or two, was a little bit easier because you still had the adrenaline of like, ooh, a new year, exciting, fun, whatever. That wears off. That wears off quick. So just be prepared. Let everyone know that you are not going to be available to socialize in those first 6 weeks. Just kind of block off your social calendar. You know what I'm saying? I, again, specifically worked in middle school. So I would say in middle school and possibly elementary and high school, but I don't want to speak for that, make a seating chart. Don't let the kids sit wherever they want to sit. Make a seating chart because one, it'll help you learn their names faster. The sooner you know all of your students' names, the sooner that relationship can form, because they're not going to respect you or even like you until you know their name. You know, if you're just still calling them like, hey, you know, they're not going to, I mean, they might still be respectful, they might still be polite, do what you say, but they can tell that you don't care if you don't bother to learn their names. So learn names as soon as possible. The easiest way to do that is a seating chart. I would not stress about the first seating chart. I remember my first year, I was told, make a seating chart. I spent so long on that seating chart. Why? Why did I do that? I didn't know any of the students. I didn't know who preferred sitting in the front, who needed to sit near me, who needed to sit, you know, who can't sit together behavior wise. Like, I didn't know all of this stuff. So I should have just alphabetically put them in there or somehow just organized them. That's what you should do. Just come up with a seating chart. You can change it whenever you want. So if you realize that it's not working or certain kids need to get moved around, do it. But don't stress about having the perfect seating chart on the first day. It's not a big deal. Don't try to be the student's friend. And I know this one, it's hard. Especially I feel like with like the older students, because when they're small, when they're little, when they're babies, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, y'all are kids. And like you can have a different sort of relationship with them and hug them and it's fine. But if you're working with older kids, yeah, don't try to be their friend. I don't like I don't like the phrase, don't smile until Christmas. That's aggressive. That's overboard. That's dramatic. But you don't want to just come off as like super friendly, super chill. I'm the cool teacher. I'm the fun teacher. Because guess what? They won't respect you. You can always get more chill, but you can't get stricter easily. Like if you start off the year super strict and just like high expectations, clear procedures, all of that stuff, that is what their norm will be. And then you can kind of loosen the reins a little bit as the year goes on and they can handle it. But if you start just like, whatever, woo, yay, so fun, it's gonna be real hard 2 months from now to control that class in any way because they know that they don't have to do what you say. So don't try to be their friend, be firm. I'm sure a lot of people have said this. You've heard it, but don't take work home. I was told that and I did anyway. I remember early in the year, like September, October, bringing all of my lesson plans home, bringing papers to grade home, sitting on the couch, sobbing while doing these lesson plans because it just all felt like too much. don't do that. It's not worth it. I will say, work your contract hours. It's just not, it's not attainable your first year, honestly, because there is just so much with teaching that, you know, you need to learn and you need to build those skills before you're able to just do them without thinking about it. For example, early on in the year, your classroom management it might really struggle. You don't know how to talk to the kids, you don't know how to get everyone's attention, what have you. Well, by the end of the year, you are going to be doing those things without even thinking about it. You're going to be able to redirect, catch off-task behavior without even like missing a step in your lesson. You know what I mean? But like those things, you have to practice them. You have to learn them. So one thing that I found was it was very overwhelming to be expected to have these great lesson plans internalized, because that was a big thing my first year. Internalize your lesson plans. When am I going to have these lessons internalized? I have to teach 2 different lessons each day to 3 different classes. When am I going to have time to 90-minute lessons, mind you. When am I going to have time to internalize this? When am I going to have time to timestamp this? We don't have enough time during our planning period. So it was very overwhelming for me. So I will say, don't beat yourself up about working late. But I still would maintain the boundary of don't take anything home. So what I did is I would stay half an hour, 45 minutes after my contract hours ended, just to set myself up for the next day, or I would get in like half an hour before I needed to in the morning, again, just to get myself set up. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about that either, because it will come. There will come a day where it's routine for you now. You've got it. You don't need to work outside your contract hours. Like, this was just my second year, and I feel like the only times that I stayed past my contract hours were voluntary. They were doing things that I didn't need to do. I just wanted to go, you know, do that extra thing. And that's how it should be. But your first year, just try to survive. Don't take work home as much as you can. In that same vein, your to-do list will never get done. I'm just telling you now. You will always have more things on the to-do list. So I recommend sorting your to-do list into must-dos and want-to-dos. Now this, you can apply it to anything, not just teaching, but it really helped me because I would find myself devoting hours to things that ended up just not mattering. Mattering? We're going with it. It just didn't matter. And then I would be scrambling because I had stuff that actually had to get done and now I don't have any time to do it. So this is something that you can get help with other people. Like, go to other teachers, go to veteran teachers and say like, hey, should I be worried about this? Should I spend a lot of time on this? How should I do this? Let them kind of guide you, okay? Because I remember I spent so long making these like little station task cards. We didn't even use them. We ran out of time. We didn't even use them. I wasted like 2 hours that I could have been doing something else on these cards that didn't get used. So just for example, like that, check off all of your must-dos, or at least as many of the must-dos as you can, and then get into the want-to-dos, because you will always have next year. You know, if it doesn't happen this year, do it next year. If you want to do classroom jobs, but you just can't find the time to make that happen, don't stress about it. Just do it next year. Take personal days. I did not take a single personal day my first year until the week before Thanksgiving. And I had to, because that was the day that I broke down crying in a team meeting when district was here, because we were in the midst of like the worst possible unit combinations. Like, my on-level prep and my honors prep were at total odds with each other, and I was just struggling. I was having to learn all of this stuff and teach it the next day. Like, we were actively planning lessons the day before we taught them, and I was just so overwhelmed, and I broke down. I had an absolute meltdown, and so they made me take a day off, which I'm so grateful for, because it never even occurred to me to take a day off because it's so much work taking a day off and making all the sub plans and everything. There's just that stigma in the teaching profession of like, don't take days off because the kids need you and no one can do your job like you can and all that other stuff. But I recommend plan to take a personal day around like October, because that'll be the end of the first 6 weeks. Things get rough. Look at your district calendar and see what days you actually get off and then plan around that. I try to have at least one day off each month, but my district doesn't really give us that many days off, honestly. So I did use all of my personal days this year. Worth it. It's worth it. Don't let anyone guilt you about that, because that is part of your compensation. They give you that as a form of payment to do your job. So not using them, that's like saying, oh, you know, you can pay me less. Like, use your personal days, use your sick days, do what you gotta do. Also, sub plans, don't worry about them. Do not expect your students to do anything while you're not there. I always left busy work that I didn't care about because they probably didn't do it. It's just the truth. Now, I would always grade something, but I wouldn't leave like actual work that I wanted them to like put effort into, because I know they're not going to do that if I'm not there. So I would just leave like spiral review stuff, you know, like skills that they should be able to do on their own, but maybe they just need a little bit more practice. Like I was 7th grade math, so I did a lot of multiplication with decimals, fractions, all that sort of stuff. And then I would take one of those for a grade. So that's an idea. There were so many times that I left important worksheets for them to do, and then I come back, nobody did them, no one can find them, and then I'm like, okay, so should I just make new copies and redo it with them and get behind, or should I just move on? Like, it's just a mess. Don't do that. My advice is to treat this year like a trial year. So do not stress yourself out about doing the best, okay? It's your first year. You're also probably not going to remember much about your first year. Like, I had a pretty traumatic first year. If you want to know about it, I did post a video on a few weeks ago about my nightmare first year. And my brain, I think, has blocked a lot of it. But also, it's just so stressful your first year, and there's so much new that your brain, I don't think, can process all of it anyway. So just don't even worry about it. You're not gonna remember it. The kids probably won't remember it. This is just a practice year, okay? It's just go with it. Now, wrapping it up, this is basically just general advice. I've already said this, but no one expects you to know it all. You don't have to pretend like you know it all. In front of the kids, you can. I did. I always pretended like I knew what I was talking about. Which, if someone tells you something or asks you to do something and you are confused, don't pretend like you've got it and then just try to figure it out on your own. Just ask. If someone's like, hey, I need you to upload the lesson plans this week, and you don't know where you're supposed to upload them to, don't just try to click around and find it on your own. Just ask. Coming from someone who never asked questions, I spent so much time just trying to figure things out because I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing. That's ridiculous. It takes no time for someone who knows what they're doing to just be like, oh, do this. Now, that's not to say that anytime someone asks you to do anything, you're like, oh, I'm new, I don't know. Like, don't just refuse responsibility. Eagerly do what is asked of you, but also ask for help when you need it. If a veteran teacher tells you that something doesn't matter, listen to them. There were so many times that I was putting all of my effort and all of my focus into this one little thing, and my mentor teacher was like, yeah, that really doesn't matter. You really shouldn't be spending this much time on that. And I didn't listen because I was like, no, it really is important. Like, this is so important. And she was right. It wasn't important. Teachers know. They also know the things that are important, that you should not skip. Obviously, there's gonna be some that are just like, oh, I don't care about anything, or oh, I'm here from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, everything's important. So like, there's your outliers. Kind of, find a teacher who looks like the teacher that you want to be and go to them for help. That's what I ended up doing. You're going to be evaluated, at least in Texas. I'm pretty sure every state does a teacher evaluation, but I'm speaking just for Texas because that's where I teach. Just ignore it. Ignore what you get. It doesn't matter. It's so biased. My first year, I got a pretty bad score, but my growth scores were really freaking high. So it's like, apparently, according to my evaluator, I was doing below average for a teacher, but then when my students' like growth scores came in, they excelled above what was expected. So I'm like, which is it? Am I a bad teacher or am I a good teacher? Like, the evaluation is based on one person's observation of a handful of lessons versus hard data and evidence. Which one should I rely on? So it's a good kind of like rubric. It's a good thing to like reference and be like, okay, this is about how I'm doing. But one, argue those points. If they give you a low score and you're like, I feel like I should be much higher than that, then argue it. Because chances are, if they're a good evaluator, they will take what you have to say into account and raise your score, if you care. You don't have to care. But I know in Texas we have the TIA, which is a way to earn money for being a good teacher, and part of that is having a good evaluation. So, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. No one is gonna ask you what you scored. No one at future jobs, like, they don't care. Nobody cares. I don't even know why we do it. It's just an accountability thing, I guess, but just do what you're doing, have faith in your abilities, you'll be fine. This is kind of just life advice, but be confident saying no. You have to be comfortable saying no, obviously, but I think it's even more important to be confident in your no. If you are overwhelmed, if you feel like you are drowning, don't accept more work that you don't have to. If you are spending so much time at work and you are just exhausted, you're so behind, all this stuff, and then they say, hey, we need volunteers for the social on Friday, say no. Say no. Like, it is okay. Learn what your limits are, learn what your boundaries are, and again, that's something that you will learn. You're going to figure it out. And your boundaries will change from year to year once you get more comfortable and once you learn where healthy boundaries are, and you'll be more comfortable and more confident in enforcing those boundaries. So basically, you don't have to say yes to everything. I know, especially in education, there is just that like expectation that all teachers go above and beyond because, oh, we do it for the kids. Yes, but don't let people take advantage of you just because of your profession. Like, you made an admirable choice to go into teaching. Don't let someone take advantage of that, And lastly, hard truth. Students, and sometimes even parents, but mainly students, will not appreciate all the work that you're doing. I put together some amazing lessons, some interactive, fun activities. They didn't care. Literally could not care. Just complained. Didn't want to be there. So don't take it personally. That's just kids being kids. They don't want to be at school. That's just the way it is. So go into it knowing that you are not going to be appreciated. So find other ways to fill your bucket because the students aren't going to do it. They will in some ways, especially if you have a good relationship with the kids. They might, anytime a kid wrote me a letter just thanking me for being a good teacher or whatever, absolutely filled my bucket to overflowing. Oh my gosh, the best thing ever. But there were some days that I was like so proud of my lesson. They don't care. So just a heads up, don't rely on that to be what validates you. It won't work. Sorry. Okay, I think that is it. Yeah, that's all stuff that I wish I knew before I started teaching, or that I knew but wish I actually took seriously. If you are a teacher and you have more advice in the comments, please leave a comment so that other new teachers can gain more insight. You know, I've only been doing it 2 years, so I'm not claiming to be the most knowledgeable. But if you have any questions about teaching, or you're starting, you're nervous, whatever, just let me know in the comments. I would love to have some conversations with you guys. And as always, I would super appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to my channel so that I can see you in the next one. Mwah! Bye.